Now that the wreckage has been found, investigators can start trying to solve the mystery of what exactly brought the plane down. And ABC's David Curley is here with more on that part of the story. David, good morning to you.
Morning, Dan. Along with the grim task of recovering the bodies, the real physical detective work begins now. Everything that is picked up from the surface in this debris field and from the bottom of the ocean, the Java Sea, can produce clues as to what happened to Flight 8051. How will this debris, the corpses, provide clues? If there are burn marks on pieces of metal, we will know there was fire. Those pieces of aircraft carry serial numbers that will identify the aircraft. The lack of life preservers on bodies could suggest there wasn't time for the crew to communicate to passengers. And even where this debris is found on the water will yield information. If the debris field is narrow, that would suggest the jetliner hit the water largely intact. If the field is much wider, spread out, that could mean a breakup in the air and the pieces rain down onto the Java Sea. We know the A320 hit bad weather at 32,000 feet and requested to climb to 38,000 feet. But even severe turbulence should not damage an aircraft. Jet makers put their planes through a series of stress tests to ensure they can stand up to a battering. So what happened at 32,000 feet? The weather may have been a factor, but there could have been system failures, what became catastrophic failures because of actions taken by the pilots.
If you're flying in difficult conditions like that, maybe the crew's taking inappropriate actions with the airplanes that lead to further problems which they failed to correct.
447, the Air France crash over the Atlantic. The crew didn't realize the jet was flying too slowly. Some of the instruments were providing incorrect information, and the plane stalled, basically stopped flying and started falling to Earth.
A swept-wing airplane will stall and start getting into a very high rate of descent with the nose still up in many cases. And then that's exactly what happened with the Airbus A330 in Air France.
How will we know? Those black boxes carried by the Air Indonesia jetliner. The batteries last 30 days. We've already lost 3 days, so the scramble will be on. Once found, as we learned at the NTSB Black Box Lab, technicians can remove computer chips. Those chips will provide not only the audio recording of the crew, but also hundreds, if not thousands of bits of information about the systems on the jetliner and the inputs made by the crew. The Indonesians had just asked the U.S. to help in the search. They will now need help with this investigation, a lab that can take one of these black boxes and extract that vital information. First, though, they have to find them. The good news is these pingers about in 100 feet of water. As we've mentioned, it's not that deep. We have lost 3 days, Amy, but that gives them 27 days to try and find these boxes.
All right, David, thanks so much for the latest on that.